I'm live. Of course, nobody's here with me yet, but I'm just happy to be live, baby. I have not been live in a while. I can't even think about the last time I did go live. But you know I don't like to wait. I don't like to wait. Actually, I like to wait. I would like to wait. But this message don't like to wait, right? My flow don't like to wait. I would like to wait for you all because I did say that I want to be, more engaging. That's not necessarily my strong suit while I'm doing live is, being more engaging because I like to be tunnel vision, but I said I do. That is a goal of mine, and I want to engage with you guys more. Ooh, I have someone here with me. How's it going? And I want to be able to see the live chat too. Okay, cool. So listen, today I want to talk about nurturing your different selves, the different parts of you, right? We have different parts of us. We have not just different versions of us, but different aspects of ourselves that are almost like their own separate self. And so many of the times we combine and conglomerate them based off of how we maneuver them, how we may nurture them, how we may interact with them as just one identity, right? Who is us, our full identity. But the reality is we have different selves that needs to be tended to specifically and directly to their specific need individually, right? Not as a whole. We can't, it could, because if we only see ourselves as just this one sense of identity and cater to ourselves in this umbrella sense of sense, then we are not going to feel fulfilled in different parts of ourselves, and we're not going to know why, because we haven't specifically zoned in on that specific part of ourselves. So many of us are falling victim. That's the key, or first thing I want to talk about is how many of us fall victim to what fulfillment is, right? The idea of fulfillment is, but it's based off of other people's ideals of fulfillment, right? And so because of that, we're not making it specific and catering to ourselves, our specific parts of ourselves. And so we're falling victim to the feeling of unfulfillment, right? And it ends up spiraling. So unfulfillment comes from when you do not feel nurtured or fulfilled in one or more areas of your being, right? And like I said, many of us are living off of everyone else's ideals of what fulfillment, what success is, what happiness is. Everyone else's ideals of it, but our own. Instead of tapping into what it really means to fulfill and succeed and bring joy to ourselves, right? And that is why many of us are having a hard time finding our joys, right? Let me move this. Hold up. So that's why many of us have a hard time finding our joys, okay? And when you lose connection to your joys in life, you lose the desire to nurture yourself or even take care of yourself, right? And if you dealt with depression, most likely if you're on my channel, you have, dealt with feelings of depression or anxiety. If you've dealt with, that severe sense of depression, you feel what I'm talking about when I say you lose the desire to want to nurture yourself. You lose the desire to want to take care of yourself. And that is because you're not finding a joy or joys in life. So you feel like, shit, if I don't feel joyful, if I'm not feeling like this is worth it, if I'm not finding the joy in my days or the joy in my life, then what's the point? What's the point of making the effort to get up? What's the point of making the effort to make the effort? What's the point of making the effort to be motivated? What's the point of making the effort to work for things? What's the point of making the effort to express, right? That's what that story that we tell ourselves when we're in those low vibrational states a lot of the times. And when we're in those depressive states, we feel like because we lost connection to our joy, that there's no point. We don't feel the desire to nurture ourselves anymore, right? And that is how that shit spirals. It spirals into emotional buildup. It spirals into stagnation. It spirals into, I just keep feeling like I'm lopsided. This thing is kind of messed up though. Okay, but yeah, so, it spirals into stagnation. It spirals into severe depression, okay? So when it comes to nurturing ourselves, we can't just nurture ourselves on a basic level, right? I want to be able to see the chat. Okay. No. All right, cool. All right, so we want to be able to nurture ourselves further than just a surface level. Like what I mean by surface level, like we're nurturing, most of the times we consider nurturing ourselves just, of course, taking care of ourselves, making sure we're clean, making sure we eat, making sure we're hydrated, making sure, even when it comes to certain aspects of self-care and you doing self-care, like, getting massages, getting your hair done, taking yourself out to eat and things like that. Although those things are a part of the process of nurturing yourself and feeling that compassion to yourself, that's on a surface level of nurturing. And so when it comes to nurturing, we have to think of nurturing ourselves beyond a surface level and go on a soul level of nurturing ourselves and tapping into the different parts of ourselves and what it needs, right? Again, we can't just nurture ourselves from the top as an umbrella response or umbrella action to say, hey, I should be good with that. Yeah, okay, as a whole, on the surface level, you might be good with that. But what does the different aspects of yourself feel? What does your child self feel? What does your ego self feel? What does your shadow self feel? How does your higher self feel towards that? Is your higher self saying, hey, dig deeper? I need a little, your other parts need a little bit more. You can do it, So you have to separate the selves. You have to separate the one sense of I am, the one sense of identity, and break them up and so that you can see these separate parts of yourself. I must not be doing things right, because how come I don't ever see who's actually coming in or the chat? I don't know, but thank you for being here with me. So you have to break up the aspect of your identity to break it down to, okay, what does my child self need? What does my ego self need? What is my shadow self telling me? And what is my higher self telling me to do for all of these aspects of myself, right? The different parts of ourselves contribute to how and why we are triggered and how we feel, right? It is the different parts of you that adds to the things that are in your subconscious, okay? And so the identity that is you on the outside pulls from the sub. Oh, I see you. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So I got my chat popping right. Okay. Got it. Thank you, sis. So when it comes to the aspects of the different self, you gotta be open to know where these different triggers are coming from. But in order to know where these different triggers are coming from, you got to tap in to each part of yourself individually and do that work individually. You can't do this as this work, this shadow work, as a umbrella effect. You have to take each part of yourselves, because you're not a self, you're selves, in order to be whole, right? You have to take individually each self and see, accept, open up to, welcome, learn how to nurture each self, okay? And so being open to learning and nurturing the different aspects of yourself will lead you to the root, to the emotional experiences or the triggers, right? And learning how to maneuver them in ways that are more natural and more soothing and more integral to the wholeness and the authenticity of who we are, okay? And when you do this, it is such great benefit when you do this. When you tap into each self and learn each self, welcome, of course, each self, and nurture each self, you learn, for example, how to use your ego to protect yourself or to bring you confidence. You learn how to process your emotions and not shove them down. You learn how to to know basically exactly when it's time to nurture that different part of yourself. You know when it's time. You know when your inner child is calling out and having a temper tantrum. You know when that child needs some nurturing. Just like, our children, when our children are having a temper tantrum. And that's one thing about our culture. A lot of the times we don't tap into the emotions of our children, and we're just focused on trying to discipline it. And we're like, okay, we're trying to discipline it and get them to stop, instead of tapping into, okay, what does she need? What does he need? What are they trying to tell me? So you learn when it's time and how to nurture that inner child. And you learn how to use all of your traits to your advantage in the ways that are true to you, like I said, okay? And so when it comes to the different aspects of yourself, again, you learn about your triggers and you learn about what part of yourself they come from. And then when you figure out what part of yourself that they come from, you learn how to nurture. You know that, okay, my inner child feels like doesn't feel safe right now and needs a little bit of protection. Or you learn that, okay, my ego feels a little threatened right now, even though it might not technically be a space to feel threatened in. You're learning that, okay, my ego feels a bit threatened, and that's why I'm becoming a little bit more aggressive, and that's why I'm shutting down when it comes to this rejection, because my ego feels threatened. And so you learn how to maneuver in life and ultimately choose to fulfill yourself. And this idea of fulfillment, like I was saying at the beginning of this video, the idea of fulfillment a lot of the times is coming from an external idea, external sense of what success is, what happiness is, what joy is, what fun is. And it really needs to come from within to feel fulfilled. And coming from within, tapping into the different selves, and when you tap into the different selves, you learn how to fulfill yourself. And that's where true fulfillment comes from, is really learning into yourself and tapping into yourselves to see what the different selves need, right? And the truth is, whether you admit it or not, most of us really are like sensitive beings or empaths, and we're highly affected by like emotions that we encounter, whether it's like fear or whether rejection and whether it's guilt. And so, especially for those empaths, I am one of them. Especially for those empaths, we really need to tap into this. We really need to tap into this separation of the self and this catering to the different selves so that we can understand where this emotion that we may have absorbed came in at. Maybe that wasn't our emotion, or maybe that emotion came from the child self or the ego. You know what I mean? And so it's very important for us empaths to separate the self and tap into the different selves to understand how to recover from emotions, okay? In order to recover from these things and get back to our square of awareness and a sense of fulfillment, we have to tap into the different selves, okay? And we must know how to connect to the different parts of ourselves that were maybe affected by someone else's emotions, right? Because as empaths, we either are absorbing somebody else's emotions or we're highly affected by someone else's emotions, right? And so either way, you have to be able to recover from that. And in order to recover from that, you first have to welcome where it is. You have to welcome and open up to where it could potentially be coming from, okay? And that is what, and that is where separating the self and tapping into each aspect of the self or the different selves come in it, and so knowing this will assist you in finding the best tools for you and the systems that will work for you. Because everybody, you got all of these gurus out here, you got all of these people out here, motivational speakers out here, you got all of these people out here that are, that are maybe successful and it works for them. But how do you know that's going to work for you? That system worked for them because maybe they don't have an internal or subconscious attachment to it. And it's not going to work for you because maybe you have a subconscious attachment to something that is blocking that success in that way. So in order to know if these systems that people are mainstreaming, if these systems are working for you, you got to know yourself and the different selves to know, okay, is this going to work for me or not? Is this part of success going to work for me or not? Like, for example, for me, a lot of people find motivation or productivity in competing, right? Well, for me, I know that competing is triggering for me. You know what I'm saying? Thinking about it in a competitive type of way is triggering for me because, my inner child feels a type of way doesn't feel safe when it comes to me trying to compete with people. So I know that system is not going to work for me. So I know that this guru or this coach that's telling me to see it as a competition is not right for me because that is not the system in which I need to use based on the different aspect of myself, okay? So that's really important to really tap into the different aspects of yourself. And like I said, like me, you might need a simple system that you need to learn yourself enough to know what things you need to feel fulfilled and what things you feel nourished. When it comes to fulfillment is based off of the things that you do on a frequent basis, on a daily basis that are nurturing to you, right? That feels good to you, that brings you joy. And so if you're only looking at an outward sense of what fulfillment or happiness is, and you're doing that, and then the whole time you're neglecting what your inner child or what your ego or what your shadow self is telling you need to do to feel fulfilled. And the crazy thing about it is it can be so simple. It can actually be more simpler than what you're trying to do based off of what you've seen externally. That thing that could make you feel fulfilled can actually be so simple while you're trying to build yourself up to all of this complexities that the gurus or that the mainstream is telling you need to do. And then you're still missing the mark. Out of all of this effort that you're putting into, all of this effort you're putting into from that motivation or from that guru or from that coach, you're putting that effort into based off of that system they told you to do that didn't happen to what you that's not customized to you. You are missing the mark the whole time while you're building yourself and being productive in this area. Your different selves are telling you you're supposed to be being productive in this area and nurturing of this area. So that's why so many people going towards success or these ideas of success, and they're still unhappy and they're still not fulfilled, no matter how many goals they accomplish. No matter what, they're still not fulfilled because they're not customizing this sense of fulfillment to themselves. And most of the time, they're not customizing it to themselves because they haven't welcomed and opened to all of themselves. So they don't know how to nurture these different aspects of yourself. Yeah, let me see, because I do want to tap into comments and stuff now. Okay, what you were speaking? Oh, dang, I can't see it no more. Dang. Okay, I'm going to go back. I want to go back and read that. But yeah, let me take this time. Talk to me, y'all. Talk to me so I can just stop and see the comments. What do y'all think about that? Have you felt this experience where, man, I feel like I'm being so productive in this area, or I feel like I'm following all of these steps of success that, these successful people are telling me, but why doesn't it feel like I feel fulfilled? Why doesn't it feel like I'm succeeding? I'm following the so-called successful blueprint? But I still don't feel happy. I still feel depressed. Have you guys experienced that? I would love to hear about it. Cause I've definitely felt that way several times. I've been ambitious since when I can remember, since I was a child, and no amount of goals or ambition. Now, hold on. Let me say this though. As a child, your ambitions most of the time before you get super programmed, as a child, it's not ambition, it's expression. So most of the things that we're expressing is authentic to us, is coming from our heart. And then when we get programmed and socialized and all of that, then the outside things connect to us and we're like, okay, maybe this is what I need to do to be successful, so I'll follow these goals or I'll follow these sense of ambitions. And sometimes it does truly connect to our authentic self because we're doing it from our heart, but sometimes, a lot of the times, it doesn't because we're doing it from an external sense, and so it's not fulfilling ourselves, right? So yeah, that's just kind of what I wanted to talk about today, and I wanted to open you guys up to really sitting down and fleshing out the different selves. Say, hey, okay. So if you're not understanding what I mean by the different selves, I mean, you can break it down like this: your child self, your ego self, your shadow self, and your higher self. When you do this work, you have to cater to every aspect of yourself. So maybe one moment that you're doing this work, you're only focusing on your inner child. Then you're only focusing on your shadow. Then you're focusing on your ego. You see what I mean? Then it's to that higher self that is in full expression mode. Hey, baby. Okay, I coming. I'm almost done. So yeah, so you want to break it down like that. And I'm thinking about doing maybe like a series following this to talk about how to nurture the child self or how to tap into, because understand this, as a coach, And if you're not familiar with me, good book on, okay, Dr. Naeem Akbar. Thank you. Thank you, Christopher. So yeah, so if you're not familiar with me, I'm an art therapy, emotional and spiritual alignment coach, in which I assist you in these development processes. I really assist you in recovering the emotions from life expectations, from life obstacles, from this sense of self-development, or these, again, expectations of life. I help you to recover your emotions by utilizing expressive and holistic arts to tap into your authentic self and to tap into your authentic flow. So for me, it's very important to put systems together for people to tap into themselves, not just give you this blueprint and say, hey, this is the blueprint to success, or this is how you heal. Yeah, if I'm gonna say this is how you heal, I'm gonna say this is how you heal by tapping into yourself to see what it is that you need. I'm not gonna tell you what it is as a umbrella or as a, set in stone system that you need. The systems that I set in place is gonna give you room to find what it is that you need based off of your individual selves, okay? A system that will help you personalize your daily task to the parts of you that needs to be nurtured, not based off of anyone else's ideals, okay? And so that is what I do as an art therapy, emotional, spiritual alignment coach. That is what I do. And based off of this topic alone, I wanted to bring something forth that will assist in that. Without you necessarily having to get a coaching, or that will at least jumpstart that before you get your coaching. And so I set something in place. I have an alignment challenge that it's my baby. It is my baby. It is something that I've really been thinking about doing for a while, but I wanted it to be authentic to me, because I like to, when it comes to challenges, I like to join in on the challenge myself, even if it's something that I've already done in the past as a system, but I like to join in on the challenge as well. So I wanted to bring this challenge to you all, the alignment challenge. And it is something that, again, that is going to put a system in place to help you personalize your daily tasks based off of what you need to fulfill yourself, okay? So I would love for you guys to join the alignment challenge. You can go to my website at artisticalignment.com and join the challenge. It includes a day-by-day breakdown. It's a 14-day breakdown that you can start whenever you are ready, based off of that breaks down how you can go about nurturing yourself, okay? It also will include free access to the Alignment Fam community app, where we pretty much help motivate you towards alignment, where we share each other's vulnerabilities and sensitivities as we're traveling our alignment journey or our self-development journey, okay? And where I learn alongside you all, because as a coach, I'm always learning as well. And I want to put myself, like, I'm not on a pedestal, I'm on the level of everyone else, regardless of what sense of alignment or what sense of enlightenment I feel like I'm at. I'm not on a pedestal. I'm at this level with you guys. And so when it comes to this community, that's what it is about, for me to learn and share alongside you guys, okay? So I would love for you guys to join the free alignment challenge. You can join by visiting artisticalignment.com, and I will put it in the description box, okay? Also, I will put an exercise pertaining to this video, as I always do for my live videos, on my Patreon. And so for my live videos, I put an exercise that corresponds with the topic of the video to help you start practicing this. And you can join my Patreon to get these exercises on a regular basis, okay? So baby is ready. I gotta get over to her, but I wanted to come here to you all before Mother's Day and get this message out to you all, because especially for the moms, I want you all to know what it truly means to nurture, nourish, and fulfill yourselves, because you deserve to be fulfilled. And not only do you deserve to be fulfilled, it's pertinent for you to be fulfilled in order for you to move and come from a space of overflow and not emptiness and lack, okay? So thank y'all for being here with me. I appreciate it so, so much as always. And hey, follow the wave. I hope to see you guys in the Alignment Challenge and on the Alignment Fam community app, okay? All right, peace.